Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today at the 1992 Republican National Convention to choose our party's candidate for the upcoming presidential election. Today, I have the grand pleasure of introducing one of our nation's most influential leaders and former presidents, Mr. Ronald Reagan. A true leader is a person who practices hard work ethic, demonstrates effective communication, and can overcome adversity. Mr. Reagan is a master of these traits. He has successfully solved many of our nation's issues at a level above and beyond what many before him have attempted. You cannot look at his most recent achievements to label him a hardworking individual, because this trait was truly learned early on in his fruitful life. At the ripe age of 14 years old, Mr. Reagan's determined soul led him to his first job. It was a summer job where he was required to dig housing foundations for 35 cents an hour. But it did not just stop there. During his early years where he worked as a lifeguard, Mr. Reagan accumulated a total of 77 people that he himself rescued. And he was sure to continuously look for opportunities throughout his life. As many of you know, Mr. Reagan is often referred to as the great communicator. And this essential leadership skill was not learned during his time as governor nor as president, but can be traced back to his early years where he worked as a sports radio announcer and acted in Hollywood films. Mr. Reagan has an aura that enables him to engage with his audience in a captivating way. It's not just because his voice is assertive yet inspiring at the same time, but because his words speak the absolute truth to the people of our nation. During the trying times of the Cold War, Mr. Reagan faced a great deal of adversity. He was tasked with the impossible, but nevertheless reached an agreement with Mr. Gorbachev that would eliminate intermediate-range nuclear missiles. And this is just one of the many notable accomplishments and situations where Mr. Reagan faced adversity and overcame it. On the domestic front, Mr. Reagan aimed to expand policies that would reduce social programs and restrictions on business. His economic theory, Reaganomics, is the prime reason we have seen tax breaks and more money going directly into our pockets, and is ultimately leading our nation to a period of prosperity and a much-needed economic recovery. You could go on and on about the notable achievements of this remarkable man. But ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please give a warm welcome to our nation's beloved former president, Mr. Ronald Reagan.